Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and today we're looking at a hilarious modern deck. Now, to build it in paper costs $300, but building it online is $75 for a competitive modern deck. We'll be using MTG Trader's pricing throughout the video so you can see just how cheap the deck is, and if you want to see the list in full or purchase any of the cards for it on Magic Online, you can click the first link in the description. Now, without further ado, get ready for the ride of your life. You're not prepared for this. We'll begin with the primary win condition, a single Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. Now, we've all met Big Emmy before. Giant, terrifying, almost impossible to deal with once it hits the battlefield, unless you have a load of scrolls, of course, but let's be real. Getting her onto the battlefield, not so easy. Well, that's about to change. Say hello to Polymorph, 4-mana sorcery that lets you destroy a creature, then that creature's controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they find a creature, and that creature is put directly onto the battlefield. Notice, Polymorph doesn't have to target an opponent's creature, simply any creature. Well, here's the thing. We're not running any other creature besides the one Emrakul, technically, which means that if we were to cast Polymorph on our own creature, it'll always reveal Emrakul because there aren't any other creatures in the deck, which raises the question, how do we destroy our own creature if we don't have any other creatures? Well, I did say we technically didn't have other creatures, but we kind of do. Blinkmoth Nexus, Inkmoth Nexus, and Fairy Conclave. We can turn each of these lands into a creature, polymorph it, and get Emrakul for the low cost of polymorph mana. The lands aren't creatures in the deck, and we run no other creatures besides Emrakul. Boom, that's a nice 2-card combo right there. You only need a polymorph and a creature land. Hilarious and good. Now, I know what you're thinking. You only have one Emrakul. What if by some miracle they find a way to remove it, or you draw it and can't do your poly shenanigans? Don't worry. Let's just say we have a backup plan. I think you're gonna like this. This backup combo also uses our creature lands, but in a much different way. We'll start with Umbral Mantle, a 3-mana cost equipment that grants a creature the ability to pump itself +2/+2 by paying 3 mana and untapping it. Not tapping, untapping. Seems innocent enough, but then we add Training Grounds, 1 blue mana enchantment. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost up to 2 less to activate, but they can't be reduced below 1, which is totally fine because we don't need it. Here's the backup plan. Let's take Fairy Conclave for instance. Animate it, it becomes a 2/1 flyer until end of turn. Training Grounds is on the battlefield. You attach the mantle to the Conclave for free because it equips for nothing. Tap the Conclave for 1 mana, and since Training Grounds lowered the cost of activated abilities, you can use that 1 mana to use the mantle's ability to untap it and give it +2/+2 infinite combo. You can keep tapping the mana producing creature for 1 mana, untap it with the equipment for 1 mana and +2/+2. You can do that forever. Best part? The fairy having flying is great, but it isn't the only way to do it. Blinkmoth Nexus also has flying and can use the combo, so can Inkmoth Nexus, which also has flying but also has infect. Say hello to the backup combo. Isn't it beautiful? Just this is the stuff dreams are made of. This strategy has already found success in Modern, which means that while each of the combos can be seen as easily interrupted or vulnerable, we're talking about a mono blue deck here. The rest of the entire deck is designed to do 2 things. First, get your combos as fast as possible. Second, stop everything that wants to mess with you. We'll begin by assembling your pieces quickly. If there's a high-powered draw spell in the format, it's probably in this deck. Serum Visions, Opt, both playsets. In addition, the deck includes 3 Thirst for Knowledge and a Supreme Will. That's 12 cards that help dig you further into your deck, looking for the pieces you need. Again, assembling either one of your combos is the most important thing. It has to be done fast or it isn't going to work, which brings us to the rest of the deck, Disruption and Protection. The strategy includes a suite of counter magic, 3 Spell Pierce and 3 Mana Leak, alongside 3 Remand and a Dispel. It's important to keep the cost of counter magic low in case you want to play Polymorph and have a counter war in the same turn. The 1 mana counters are essential. This is also why the deck includes a pair of Disrupting Shoal. When much of the deck is made up of 1 and 2 mana spells, the Shoal should have all the fuel it needs to dumpster opposing counters out of nowhere. Between the quick counters and the Shoal, you're looking at 13 counter spells in the deck. Certainly more than the average blue deck in Modern, but definitely a suitable number considering the fragility of what's happening here. The only other non-land card in the deck is Vapor Snag. When aggressive, creature-based decks are knocking on your door, the goal is to buy time. That's all you want to do. Buy time. Vapor Snag functions as a band-aid, nothing more, but it's cheap and that's what we need. The rest of the deck is legit just 11 islands, and done. That's the whole deck. Now, let's talk overall strategy and playability. This deck is unique in a lot of ways, but the most important thing to remember is that you're running 12 cantrips and 13 counterspells because you have to get your combos online and you have to protect them. Don't get too impatient. If your opponent is holding up blue mana and you're thinking it's okay to run your Polymorph out into that without counter backup ready, you're probably going to have a bad time. Obviously, each situation is different, but you get what I mean. If you can cast it on turn 5 after animating a land while your opponent's shields are down, do it. Go nuts. But if you can't, that's okay. Your deck is designed to fight, not to sneak something onto the battlefield. You have counters for a reason. Wait for them. Use them. Also, be sure to work towards both combos when you can. Polymorph is great and easy and a single card, but Training Grounds plus Umbral Mantle is just as dangerous and a bit more resilient. Players are less likely to even want to counter those cards, at least from my experience so far. Polymorph has a target on its head. These cards don't, so don't get tunnel visioned. You have options. After you totally rock your opponent game 1 because they have legit no idea what you're doing, sideboarding is going to be a fun time. If you beat them using the Mantle Grounds combo, they're going to sideboard in artifact removal. They always do, which is why Welding Jar is the perfect answer. Costs 0 mana, perfect for the deck, and you can keep it around waiting for the mantle to be targeted. And most players aren't going to find multiple artifact kill spells to kill the jar first. It's good insurance. You'll also find players who sideboard in more removal for your lands, more instant speed kill spells. The main only runs 1 Dispel. I have 2 in the sideboard. Bring them in against color-appropriate strategies, red decks, black decks, the usual. More Vapor Snags against especially aggressive strategies, anything that's trying to beat you on the ground before you even get the chance to polymorph. And Spreading Seas is a wonderful sideboard add against greedy mana bases, Tron, Manlands, Valakut, anything you don't like, and it draws you a card, which is perfect. Solid sideboard options for this strategy. Look, this is as consistent as a deck like this can get, and personally I love it to bits. I think it's hilarious, and playing it only confirms that. For being a deck designed around a couple of pretty loose strategies and combos, it is surprisingly efficient and reliable. Thanks to being mono blue and having a clear purpose, the spell package is tight and strong. If you're looking for something new to play in Modern that maybe your LGS hasn't seen before or your friends haven't seen before, this is a great deck to surprise them with. And remember, if you want to see the deck list in its entirety or buy the thing for $70 on Magic Online and play right now, you can click the first link in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.